If your aim is holding you back from ranking up in CS2, this is the perfect video for you. We're going to cover the 10 best aim training workshop maps that will completely transform your gameplay. From maps that help you practice prediction precision like a pro, to specialized training for movement shooting, spray control, and even handling clutch situations under pressure. Whether you're struggling with flick shots, recoil control, or just need a solid warm-up routine, these maps will give you everything you need to aim like the pros do. If you're not sure you can trust me, I'm Louis, a 3000 ELO player on Faceit, and I play internationally with Team USA at LAN events around the world. I've included timestamps in the description below, so you can skip ahead or revisit any tip you'd like. So this map is called Aim Gorilla, and the reason it's called that map is just because of the little things that we're going to be shooting on our screen. But this is a very good map to practice your prediction precision. And what I mean by that is when you load into this map, you can choose a bunch of different things, which we will eventually go into. But when I click start, you're going to see that there's going to be these targets pretty much just going towards this gorilla. Now, what you want to be doing when you are practicing this is you don't want to directly flick to the target and try to track it. You want to flick and predict where it is going. So instead of just going towards the target, I want to flick in front of this target and just try to shoot where I think it's going to be going. Because if you think about in Counter-Strike, when people are trying to swing you, a lot of times, if you try to just shoot directly onto their head, they're going to have the advantage in the fight. Now, inside of this map, we can see that there's a lot of different options where we can change the sound, but we can also change the size of the target. So if you're someone that wants to practice a lot more accuracy, you can see that if I do change the size to 1, I'm going to see a smaller target. Now, if you do want to train on this map, the one thing I would recommend is that you probably do it for at least 10 minutes, but you could also integrate it into your warm-up. But there's going to be a lot of better warm-up maps later on in this video. So this map is called Fast Reflex Flick Warm-Up, and this is a very good map to train your aim because it's going to be in-game situational. Now, a lot of aim maps and aim trainers are pretty much just shooting targets on a wall, but this map is going to be using a real player model, which will help you guys when you actually load into the server. So when you guys get into this map, you're going to see we have the choices of weapons and we can change the health of the player. But this map is very good because it's going to randomize where the player model is going to spawn. So when I shoot the player model in front of me, it's going to just spawn in a random position, as you can see right here. And that's not the only thing you can do. So first, you can obviously practice just flicking and shooting the head of the target in front of you, but then you can also practice spraying as well, where you're trying to spray at the target wherever it is. So wherever it spawns, I just flick and then just hit a nice spray. And then after maybe you do a couple sprays as well, you can also practice just ADing wherever targets are spawning, because you always want to be moving inside a Counter-Strike. So you can just sit here and just try to AD at the bots like this. And then the last thing that I would also recommend in this map is just strafing. So after you kill a bot, you just want to strafe and then counter strafe backwards and just keep strafing, because a lot of times you're going to be moving left to right in game. So just doing this across the map is going to be very, very helpful. Now, this is a training map called Blank, which is going to help your aim, but it's also going to work on something psychological as well, which is being able to aim under pressure. So there's a lot of options when you spawn into this map, and the first thing you obviously want to do is to choose your weapon, and then you can pretty much just choose whatever you need, where you can have the bots on slow mode, the different ammo counts, if there's armor, knives only, whatever it is. I'm gonna go knives only and then hit this target. Now you're going to see that when I spawn in, I'm just in the middle here, and there's a bunch of bots that are going to be coming at me, and with slow mode on, this is going to make it so I actually have time to shoot at these bots. And each time I shoot a bot, I'm going to get a nice little slow mode where the bots are going to be a lot slower at me. Now, obviously, some of you guys might think that this isn't very helpful, but it's going to really help you practice playing under pressure, where you're getting rushed from a bomb site and you can't seem to just aim at all the opponents running at you. Now, if you don't want the slow mode, you can obviously hit this on 0. And then when you spawn back in, you're going to see that the bots will just be holding W at you, and they should be coming from a lot of different directions. So as you can see, I have bots coming from this direction, and I'm just constantly having to swivel. So the more you practice something like this, not only is it going to help you feel under pressure, but you're also going to have to be constantly moving as well. Now, this map here is called Aim Arena, and you're going to see when you spawn in, you're going to have a lot of bots just surrounding you that you're going to seem to have to shoot. Now, the cool thing about these bots is you can see how they are moving on my screen, where they're just constantly ADing, they're crouching, they're switching up their movement a lot, which can help you warm up your aim. You can warm up spraying, you can warm up tapping, you can do a lot of different things because the bots just have unpredictable movement. Now, like we talked about earlier, you can obviously warm up in a map like this where you're, trying to tap the opponent in front of you. You're working on your spraying, your bursting. Now, this map also has other things to offer. If you look over here in the challenges, there's also pre-fire, combat, and target. Now, if I do hit the target mode, you're going to see we're going to have something similar to something like Aim Labs or what Prac had in CSGO, where we can change the size of this dot all the way to 1, and we can even change the color of the dot. Now, we can either have it on default, or if we want to do a time challenge of 100 targets, but you're going to see that when when I shoot this, I'm going to have 3 dots just right here on my screen that I'm going to be able to practice and flick to. But if you don't want to do that, there's also the pre-fire, which I think is really cool on this map, because you can see when you spawn in on the pre-fire, they pretty much just block out the whole map of Mirage and just more focus on the pre-fire. So instead of worrying about what the map looks like, you can just focus on working on your movement, working on that crosshair placement, and just pre-firing these bots. You're going to be getting a really good warm-up of not only Mirage, but also your movement and your crosshair placement. So this map here is the Anubis Aim Course, but the creator of this map made it for all of the Counter-Strike maps, including Vertigo, which are pretty much just aim courses on all of the active duty maps. So if I enter to start here, you're going to see that I'm going to have pretty much just pre-firing these bots in all the common spots where you would play on Anubis. And the awesome thing about this is not only is it a time challenge if you want to see your speed, but you notice that the bots aren't shooting at you. Now, what I really like about this is that it's going to teach you on how you should be clearing angles, because if you aren't doing the whole time thing, you actually have time to understand where CTs are playing. So you can just constantly try to practice isolating fights and isolating angles on where someone might be playing on Anubis. So you don't have to worry about just constantly getting shot from bots. Like for example, here where I just jumped to heaven, if I was playing on any other pre-fire map, this bot right here would have definitely shot me. But since I have the time and understanding that there is a bot there, I can just back up and reset and really try to understand on how I want to clear this guy. So if you guys drill these maps a lot, it's going to help your crosshair placement. It's going to help your movement. So if you are not familiar with the common places where a lot of CTs or Ts are going to be playing on a map, drilling these maps a lot and putting them into your aim training routine will definitely help you in the long run. So this map here is called Reactions 101, and you're going to see this is pretty much just aim labs inside of Counter-Strike. You can see you're just going to be spawning into this box, and you're going to select what gun you want, and then you're going to shoot to start. And you're going to see that we obviously have the simple balls that are just in front of us that we're going to be shooting. And this is a time challenge where you want to see how fast you can hit these balls. Or if you're someone that doesn't even care about the time, you can just practice on developing your aim instead of just rushing trying to get a really good time. Now you're going to see at the very end, we're going to see how many hits we got, our accuracy, and our reaction time. And that's pretty much all of our map offers. Now we can change the scale of this if we want to, where the size of the balls are going to increase. You can definitely start with the larger targets if you are a beginner inside of Counter-Strike, and this will help you just getting your speed up to pace, because if you're having trouble shooting the smaller targets very slowly because you don't have good precision, increasing your scale is going to help you. Now if you want a longer time instead of just 20 seconds, you can come over here to the current time and just increase this to whatever you want. Now this map is the Ego Peek, which the creator of this map has actually made multiple on different maps, but this map is pretty much just made to help you peek and get used to where enemies are playing. So there is a couple options that we can choose from, and there also is HUD hints. So when I go through the start training, you're going to see at the bottom, the bot will peek from connector. So when I swing out mid for an Ego Peek, I can just simply sit here and kill him. Now the one thing I don't like about this map is that every time it's going to spawn you in this area right here, which I'm not a huge fan of. So you have to keep going through, but you're going to see that on the bottom, it tells me that the bot is going to be rushing up mid, and I'm going to have 3 bots coming at me with a scout, unfortunately. Now, if you're wondering why my weapon is random each time, you're going to see how these are highlighted. So if I sit here and only select the AK, when I go through here, I'm only going to be having the AK, and now I can just peek with the AK or whatever gun I want. Now, I really do recommend that you do have the HUD hints on, but if you do want a harder difficulty, you can obviously just turn this off and then just dry swing mid, just trying to find where the player is. Now, this map Aim Prac is the most fundamental of a map that you can get, because you're only just selecting a few weapons that you may want to be using, and you're just running through just trying to clear angles and kill targets. Now, the reason this is practicing your aiming is because, yes, it is time, but also you're practicing clearing corners. And the one thing I don't like about this map is that obviously it's not in-game situational, but it is practicing your fundamentals. So when you are running through this, you're able to practice your movement and just clearing these hard angles that you may not used to be clearing, because a lot of times in maps you may not be clearing deep enough angles. So when you are drilling through these maps, you can see how deep some of these angles are, because when you're coming around corners, you obviously want to be aiming for the head. You obviously want to be clearing these tight angles. So if you think that you do have trouble on that, or maybe you want to increase the speed of how fast you're clearing angles, challenging yourself on a map like this will definitely help you. Now, this is my go-to training map at the moment, which is the Razer Aim training map. So when you guys first spawn in, you're going to see that we're going to have some choices of knives if we want to just change our knife to whatever we want. And then we're going to be going over here into this building. Now, there's 3 sections of training inside of this map, and if you guys want to download this and explore the rest, you definitely can. But if you guys come over here, first we're going to be seeing the little aim lab section where we can choose how many balls are actually inside of the aim training course. We can change the scale of how big they are. We can change the distance with the 1, 2, and 3 sitting right here. We can have the time and then also the movement of the balls. So when we sit here
here in start, it's going to lock us into place, and we can just sit here and aim at these, which is a really good warm-up, pretty much just like the reactions 101, but there's a lot more options that we have to choose from in this section. Now, if you click exit, it's going to be showing you all of your accuracy, your hits, your reaction time, the weapon that you use, and it gives you some really good stats that you guys can learn from. Now, heading into the next room, this is one of my favorite recoil practicing maps, and you can see that the bot is already moving. Now, over here, we have a couple options where we have the static, and then we also have the distance. Now, when you press the start button, the bot is going to spawn in front of you, and you're just going to be spraying at the bot for the full 30 bullets of the spray. We're going to be seeing our accuracy and our weapon. It's going to be showing us our statistics, and then we also have the option where we can make the bot move. So if I click start right here, I'm going to have a moving bot, which is a really good practice on moving recoil, and it's also going to be showing you your accuracy as well. And then obviously we have our distance that we can change inside of this. Now, the last thing this map has to offer is just your normal aim bots, where you're pretty much having the bots just in front of you, so you can sit here and warm up, which every warm-up map needs to have. So if you want to practice your spraying on bots sitting just in front of you like this, if you want to practice your tapping or even your bursting, this is a really good map that has it to offer. And we can even change the distance, where if I want the bots to spawn far, if I want them to only spawn in the middle, or maybe I just want them to spawn pretty much everywhere. And then we have our other options on the map as well, where we have our rush, where we have all these bots just sitting here rushing me. Now, obviously we can change the count of this if we really need to for a lot lower number. And then we have the shuffle as well, where it's just going to be spawning objects in front of you where the bots are going to be moving, just like one of the warm-up maps we talked about earlier. Now, the one thing that I do like about this Razer map, it's pretty much all the maps that we talked about combined into one. So if you are looking for a really good warm-up map, I would really recommend the Razer map, because this map offers everything that you need to not only warm up, but to also aim train.
If this video helped you, check out this video on the 14 mistakes you need to stop making in CS2.